Good morning, dear students. Hope you all are keeping fine. So, today we are going to look at the poem Animals by Walt Whitman. So, here in the poem, the poet is actually comparing human beings and animals. What is the poet comparing? He is comparing the human beings with animals. And he has pointed out that there is evil present in human brains, and he thinks that it is not there in the brain of the animals, which means the poet says sometimes the human brains they work in a negative way, or there is evil filled in the human brains, but in the brain of the animal there is no evil, or compared to the human brain the animal brain is far more better, and he thinks that animals are much better than human beings in this respect. What is the reason? In the brain of human beings there is evil, but in the brain of the animals there is no evil, and animals they only show love and kindness, which makes him think that animals are much better than human beings. In the poem Animals, the poet has described his will to become an animal because he thinks that animals are far better than human beings. Human beings are greedy and full of jealousy against each other, but animals are calm and self contained. The animals are very happy with what they have and they never complain about miseries and sorrows. But on the other hand, human beings they keep complaining about their miseries. They give more importance to the rich and the strong people, and they are restless because of their wrongdoings and run behind the luxurious things in the world. But animals are honest about their relations and they don't give importance to a particular class. They live a life which is full of honesty and less of greed and jealousy. Now we'll look at the poem stanza wise. Okay? I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So here the poet says that he wants to live in the world of animals. Here we can see that the poet finds the world of animals better than that of human beings. Further, he says that he finds animals more peaceful than humans. So, the poet he actually says so because animals are not running after worldly things like how the human beings do. They are very calm and quiet and they don't have any greed for worldly things or any kind of achievements. They are self contained, which means they are happy with their life and they never interfere in the lives of others. But humans have the habit of interfering in the lives of others. So the poet, he thinks that animals are better than human beings because they are calm and they are not interfering in the matters of others. And the poet, he further says that these are the reasons why he will stand still and look at the animals for a very long time. Now, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owing things. So here the poet says that unlike human beings, animals don't complain of any misery. They never cry out loud like the human beings, or they do not try to show what they have lost. They never stay awake in the night crying or repenting for their wrongdoings, which means the animals are different from human beings because they don't show anger or grief. Like if something wrong happens with them also, they don't show anger or grief. And further the poet is trying to say that animals are very truthful because they never boast of their good deeds, or like they never say that okay I have received this or I have done that. They don't boast of their good deeds that is done in the name of good. And he says so because most of the human beings do this. That is, like we human beings have a tendency of saying, yeah, I have achieved that, or I have achieved this, or I am capable of doing that, I have this much wealth, and we keep always boasting about what we have. So we fail to recognize that whatever we have achieved till now, or what all belongings we have with us, everything is a gift of God and it is not something that we have earned. So we fail to recognize that and we keep boasting about all that we have. But instead of boasting the animals, they don't they don't boast about what they have because they know it is given by God. He says so because the poet, he says so because most of the human beings boast about what they have, okay? And also they try to show their good deeds and religiousness to others. They do so in order to gain popularity among their fellows. And the poet, he thinks that animals never irritate him by doing such things just to gain some praise from the fellow people. Animals are not dissatisfied like human beings. They are always happy with whatever they have. They are contented with what they have. They never show any dissatisfaction and they don't act in front of others in order to receive some kind of praise or something. And they never try to possess things of comfort or luxury. We know most of the animals, like if it is a wild animal, it stays in the forest, that is in the soil, I mean in the sand, or if it is a fish, it stays in water. If it's a land animal, it stays on land. It simply sleeps wherever it finds, or maybe sometimes if it is a lion, it has a den or something, but it's not a luxurious place. The lion, it sleeps in its den during day and night, and it doesn't have a AC to use during daytime. Like it's very hot during daytime, but it doesn't have an air condition. It doesn't have any luxuries like that, or it doesn't have a fan, or at night it doesn't have a tube light or anything. But we human beings, we keep on going after luxuries, and they never run behind worldly things. He says that none of them is mad behind owing the worldly things. So that is the main difference he finds between humans and animals. Okay. Now, not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me, and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possession. Here, the poet says that he has never seen any animal showing his devotion to anyone by bowing down in front of that person. They never do so, even for their ancestors. They do not show devotion towards God like uh, uh, they never show devotion towards God like how the humans do. And no one among them is more respectable or important as we have in human society. And in the case of human beings, rich people are generally given more importance, or they are treated with more respect when compared to the poor. So in our society, it's like that. The rich people, they are treated as something very great. They are given socially, they are given a better status in the society. But in the society of animals, there is no such thing. They never give more or less importance to any other animal. Everyone in the animal world is happy. They are not like human beings who find themselves the happiest or the saddest person on earth. And further, the poet says that animals are more honest in showing their relations with other animals. Here, he actually wants to say that animals use other animals as their food and they never try to hide this. Whereas human beings, they show that they have a nice and friendly relations with others. Though in reality it's just the opposite. And the poet says that he accepts the fact that the animals are true towards showing their relation with other animals. Now, I wonder where they get those tokens. Did I passed that way huge times ago and negligently dropped them. So negligently means carelessly. So at last the poet introspects himself and says that from where the animals got those good qualities. He is further questioning himself, and he is saying that where is his own good qualities, or he is questioning himself. He is thinking where his own good qualities are gone, or where his own good qualities have vanished. Did he left them or had carelessly lost them somewhere? The qualities that were found in human beings in the past, like innocence, kindness, truthfulness, honesty, all these are now seen in animals, and he wonders that humans gave up these qualities and they have been passed on to the animals. So the poet says that earlier there were many good qualities within the human race which are now diminishing and have been passed on to the animals, which is why he feels that animals are better than human beings.